We usually have
Yes,
the
I
purple
hope
one.
so.
This
Yes,
is
it's
Merlot.
running.
The purple one is
Okay, so let's start.
Cabernet, I think.
First of all,
Yeah.
let's start with the
We
questions.
have for Pesach, I like
If you have any
Every
questions regarding the last week class, if we remember anything.
רשע וטוב, צדיק ורע לו, רשע וטוב לו.
Fun. Just to make it more visible. So last time we learned. Actually, before making the short review, I wanted to see if you have any questions which should be answered before we continue. Before we make short review and then continue. Any questions?
That can be a 9.
Hmm?
This can be a 9.
No, regarding the previous class.
No.
Okay. I hope it was fun. So last time we learned about 5 types of people, 5 spiritual levels which you might belong to. You find these divisions in the Talmud. Righteous tzaddik, righteous man who prospers. Also in another place in Talmud, he's called perfect tzaddik. Since he's perfect, he doesn't need to suffer, because suffering, one of the purpose of suffering is to purify the person, to cure the person's spiritual blemishes and sicknesses and so on. The second level is righteous man, the tzaddik who suffers, or imperfect tzaddik. Wicked man who prospers, a wicked man who suffers, and an intermediate one, Beni. Let me show you this in the shape of a chart. So we have 2 types of tzaddikim, right? 2 types of wicked people, Rashoim. Also, you see, I put the question mark. The one who prospers, or rather, the Tovloi. Rasha, and it's good for him. What does it really mean? The tzaddik who prospers, or the Tovloi, we called perfect, right? You remember how we interpreted the expression "vetov lo"?
There be someone.
The simple meaning who prospers, right? But the exact meaning, "vetov lo", yesh lo tov. He has only good. That's why.
Exists. Like
Very rarely, just few, maybe one in a generation. But still, that's why it's called perfect, because he has only good in him. The imperfect tzaddik, the one who suffers. Veralo, let's reinterpret it. Not who suffers, but to be more exact, to get closer to his inner. Oh wow!
Yeah, there was
Storm.
lightning before, like big lightning.
Let's reinterpret it. Bring
It's gonna be
it
big,
closer
just
to
like-
his inner structure. Explanation of his inner structure. Vera loi, he has some ra. What is ra? Bad. It belongs to him somehow. We will later. We will explain this. We will learn this anatomy of our souls. So we'll understand more exact what does it mean. But he's imperfect because there is some not so good in him. Somehow not good belongs to him in some capacity. So we can suppose that there is the Rasha who suffers, and the Rasha who doesn't suffer, who prospers, also talking about the completeness of him as being a wicked man. The completely wicked man and not completely wicked man. But we will, again, that's what we will learn later. That's why so far I left just question marks in this. And in the middle, what do we have in the middle?
Big question mark.
Our intermediary guy, Beinani in Hebrew. Also, there is another explanation about them, that tzaddik, motivated by tzaddikim, the righteous people, motivated by their good nature, or judged, if to translate it more literary. The wicked people motivated by their evil nature, Yetzer Hara, and Beinani motivated by both. And to make this question mark even bolder, juicier, or whatever, more question, to make this mark more question mark, Tanya quotes this story in the Gemara about one of the greatest sages, Rabbah, who said, for instance, I am a Beinani. Just keep in mind that I'm Beinani. He said to his students, and one of them, Abaya, said, Master, you didn't live any hopeful life to anybody. And we discussed why, right?
Yeah.
If you are Beinani, everyone else are wicked, and wicked are in script they're called like living deads. And we discussed this topic. When we being here and functioning physically, we don't do what we're supposed to be doing. It's not really life. It's waste of time given to us from above. So let's continue. And as we agreed, first I read in Hebrew, the language of original, and then translate and interpret and explain. Ulehovin kol zeh ba'er hatev, and to understand all the aforesaid clearly, v'gam lehovin ma she'omar Iyov, and also we need to understand what Iyov said. He's quoted in the Gemara, in the tractate Bava Basra. Said, Riboyne Shaloilam, and I please pardon my Ashkenazic pronunciation.
No.
I can try to break my tongue.
Don't worry, it's okay.
Was I successful last week? Okay, so I'll continue. Ribono shel olam. Huh? How am I doing?
It's
Amazing.
in Hebrew, like so.
Yes.
You amazing. In Hebrew, there is no Ashkenaz or Sfarad. It's like how you talk, like Ribono shel olam. It's Ribono shel olam. Everybody say
Okay.
Ribono shel olam.
Okay. Barata tzadikim, barata rashayim. You have created righteous tzadikim. You have created rashayim, wicked ones. So why is it a problem? What do we need to understand here? What do you think?
Doesn't sound like there's the middle one that we're discussing.
The problem is that
50-50.
that Iyov didn't mention Beinani at all.
You say you only
Were the
believe-
Beinani created according to Iyov? That's what the problem is.
No, it's not only been on
I'm not
you.
making fun of him.
How
Just,
can define tzaddik? How can define rasha? Like, how can you know to see the difference between good and bad?
the problem is that Iyov said, you have created righteous people, you have created wicked people, you have created, at first glance, righteousness and wickedness is a matter of choice, isn't it?
It better be.
Yes. What is righteousness? Whom do we call righteous? According to what we already said, we understand it deeper, and maybe it's we don't have any problem with understanding a word of Eve anyway. But on the daily basis, we understand righteousness as good behavior, right? Following the rules and so on, and wickedness is a bad behavior. Evildoers, right? That's what we call wicked. So evildoers, they do because they make specific choice to do evil instead of doing right. Righteous people, they make choice to do right things. Am I right? At least that's how we perceive it on a daily basis. So why suddenly Iyov tells to Kodesh Baruch to Hashem that He created. You created righteous people. You created wicked people. It's not pre-installed in our nature to be righteous or wicked. We know it from the source. It's explained in the Talmud that there are certain things which are predestined, predetermined. Some things to be rich, or to be poor.
How would you explain then?
To be wise, to be smart, or to be normal, to be average. Let's say. Let's not use the negative definitions. Right? That's determined. It's like in our DNA. It's pre-programmed. And we can understand that mental capacities, cognitive abilities. Yes, that's pre-installed. To be righty or lefty, to be blonde or black or ginger. That's how being born. Might appear as a novelty, that it's also predetermined. Will the person be rich or poor? And again, it could be added a lot in Sagraim and parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things which are predetermined, and the person, the soul is being sent into this world, right? We got job description, what we have to do, what we have to accomplish, and we are being given certain ammunition, like in the game. In the beginning of the game, you get certain armor, weapons, so whatever. So when I played computer game last time, it was still big pixels.
No. Minesweeper.
No, new Duke. What do you call it? I forgot.
Too early for me.
Forget it. But like in the game, there is an ability to upgrade your abilities, and through righteous behavior, through prayer especially, certain things could be changed. Some abilities, armors, and weapons could be upgraded, like richness over being poor. It's also known. But okay, but we concentrating on something which is predetermined. For rich, cognitive capacities, or many other things also predetermined, but not righteousness or wickedness. Veho tzaddik v'rasha lo ka'amar. It's not being said when the person comes to this world, oh, this will be righteous, will behave good, and this will be Rosha. As we remember, but the first question we started with, we mentioned that when the soul comes into this world, and we brink of appearing in the Avirosh Olam, in the space of this physical world, he's being sworn. The soul being sworn. Every person gives an oath. Be tzaddik, be righteous. Don't be Rosha. Don't be wicked. And even if the whole world is telling you that they are tzaddik, still in your own eyes, be as Rasha, wicked. So it is a choice. There's to be a choice. We even giving oath in order to get some additional boost, to fulfill this job, this mission, to accomplish this mission. So why Eov says that Hashem created tzaddikim and created Rashayim? You understand the question? Yes.
Because he chose.
Oh, you already want to give the answer?
No, it was just it supports what you're saying. I was just gonna ask you, how would you explain?
Oh, you want to increase the question?
Emphasize.
Yeah, no, just like Esav, like he was born to such a righteous family, and it's like, how did he turn out to be such a big Ashan? Is it his choice, or was he just like born that way?
Very good.
Is it like
All kind.
Very, very good example.
Oh, so if we don't answer this, then that implies we don't have free choice.
Yes, that's the question. Because at least at this stage, we connect these terms, righteous or wicked,
So
with the choice. If it's predetermined, barat, you create it, then there's no choice.
Then nothing you do matters. Yeah.
yesterday, I went to Rabbi Shandalov's. He does Tuesday nights. He has very good lessons also. One of them was life as a test, and then we came up to the topic of free will. So some people said they don't believe in it because Hashem already knows like what you're gonna do, and then a girl in my group said something that like put everything into perspective, and it was like Hashem knows all the different options that you could possibly choose and the outcomes to each of those options. It's just up to you which choice you are going to take. So he knows like if you're gonna do A, then like you have like from A to Z. So in a way, because I learned that yesterday, that's how I can kind of like understand.
That answer avoids the problem if Hashem knows what you're going to do, so you have to. You don't have choice. So Hashem knows all the options. Does He know which option will you choose? So this answer is, in truth of the matter, essentially it's like avoiding the answer.
There's another way to answer that God was, is, and will be. So He's in the future just like He's in the present. So He's not telling you what to do or forcing you to do, but right now you're choosing what to do, but God is also in the future and knows what you're going to choose. He didn't make you choose that, but just like that's the anomaly of God.
Right,
it's hard to understand. God is what is, was, and will be.
Sleeping into different conversation about freedom of choice, which is very interesting. I think we should make a separate lecture about freedom of choice, unless Rabbi David answered all the questions. So I don't need to prepare.
They do a new topic
lecture.
every Tuesday.
But
It's just.
But we are. Our question still remains. Whether we understand the question, concept of freedom of choice or not, it doesn't answer our problem, because Eve says that Hashem creates righteous and creates
Which
wicked.
doesn't show you chooses an option. It's that He forces you in a category.
Which contradicts at least at first glance, the concept of freedom of choice.
Yeah.
Whether we understand what is freedom of choice or not,
Mm-hmm.
whether we have or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the answer?
Answer will be not very simple.
Wait, so the question is.
We are collecting the questions.
The question is, where is the free will in this to be a righteous or evil?
We need to understand the terms which we are using from the very beginning. Be righteous, don't be wicked. What is tzaddik? What is rasha? What is beinoni? And in truth of the matter, the question what is beinoni is actually the central question. V'gam lehavin mahut madregat habeinoni. And also we need to understand the essence. The essence of
Great slide.
what is beinoni? What is essentially? Shivivadi.
Smile.
Shivivadi eina mechatza zechuyot mechatza avanot. At the first glance, what's so mysterious about it? What's so mysterious about it? Beinoni is 50-50 between righteous and the wicked. The one who has zchuyot, merits, and averot, sins. And in truth of the matter, we use these terms quite often. Let's say in the Talmud, in the tractate Rosh Hashanah, we say about the judgment of Rosh Hashanah. Because what is Rosh Hashanah essentially? It's Yom Adin, day of judgment, when the decree is being issued for each. No, Yom Kippur is Kippur, Yom Kippurim. Yom Kippur is a day of atonement. The day of judgment, is Rosh Hashanah. Actually, the judgment is being done first hours of Rosh Hashanah.
It's like
Exactly. First we say L'Shana Tava Tikate v'Tikatem, and then we say
Which means
already
should
in
be
the morning we
inscribed.
say Gmar Ketzima Tava. May your judgment will be finalized, right? So the judgment, the decree, of course, that's what we wish.
We hope.
But the decree is issued in the first hours of Rosh Hashanah already. But the main thing that this is the day of judgment. And yes,
we only say that because it goes usually the righteous first and then the wicked, so we don't want to say, oh, you're wicked, so you get last. You only say in the night. So I heard it's first it goes in the night is the righteous, and then the wicked is the day. Isn't that?
No, first we wish that the decree should be good. L'Shana Tava Tikatem v'Tikatem. You should be inscribed and sealed, and the decree should be sealed for the good year. That's what we. Because now the judgment is going now. A few hours later, we already say Gmar Chetzima Tava, that the seal, the finalizing of the seal and the decree should be good. But Talmud tells us that 3 books are being opened in front of the heavenly court. The book of Tzaddikim, the righteous, the book of Reshaim, of the wicked ones, and the book of Beinanim. Those who have more merits and less averot, the less sins, being inscribed and being written in the book of Tzaddikim, for the good righteous, for the good life in the upcoming year. Those scale tips in the opposite way, being inscribed in the book of wicked, the Rashaim, for not so good. Let's not use the very negative terms. And those who are in between, the scale like shaking in the how to say, the middle position, they've been inscribed in the books of Beinani and put on hold until the day of the final. Yes.
Yeah, but what does it mean? It's when the wicked are gonna die. All the wicked gonna die.
Bad year doesn't mean death.
That's the perspective.
Pain,
Chas v'shalom, God forbid. But if they do tshuva, everything could be changed. But let's assume that this is simply simplified picture of how the judgment is being done.
Yeah, but
You have
did like the wicked like averot.
Hmm?
They already did the wicked averot.
And therefore,
So if they did averot, it means they already weak, and if they wicked, it means they gonna be.
So the job of the court is to make a decree, to reward the righteous ones, and to punish the wicked ones. So the maximum punishment is, of course, how to say, elimination from the world, God forbid.
If they
Again,
have no other like
right.
they
Right.
seem to
This
have
is the simplified structure of the process of judgment. Okay? And the maximum punishment, of course, is the death. Does it mean that that's the only option? No. But to give you the picture that the person have more merits is called righteous, and he is sealed for the good year. The person who has more sins has completely different destiny, God forbid. But the Beinani is right in between.
Mm-hmm.
Put on hold. And again, everything could be changed. The decree is not final. The decree of Rosh Hashanah is not final. It's being sealed on Yom Kippur, but even this finalizing is not final. It's heavenly court, but it works in a very Hamish way. It's a Jewish court. Being finally it's Jewish. It still gives you a chance until until Shana Rabbah. Why we with the willow branches on Shana Rabbah and say long prayers? Because it's another court
in
hearing.
Chabad there was the 7th of October.
Hmm?
In Chabad there was October 7th.
No, it was
Last year, like
Simchat Torah. It was
it
Simchat
wasn't
Torah.
Simchat Torah. It wasn't
Not
Shana
Hashanah.
Rabbah.
Hashanah was before.
No, it was Simchat Torah.
Yeah, but
it was the second day of Simchat
In
Torah.
the,
It was
in the
after-
last day
after.
of Sukkot, there
It was
was
right-
October 7th.
It was
That was
right after Shana Rabbah. Right. It was right after. Yes. But I'm saying
We
that
lost
this is
over
another.
1,500 people in one day.
Okay. What do you do on the Shana?
We with the willow branches
Seven
to
willow
sweeten
branches.
hold 5 willow branches. It's a Kabbalistic tradition established by the early prophets, to sweeten the heavenly gvurot, the attributes of judgment.
I've never seen that.
Chamisha gvurot, five
Yeah.
aspects of
No, that's so cool.
divine
I never
judgment.
saw it.
That's what the men do in the shul on Shana Rabbah.
Maybe.
And
Isn't there also after Hanukkah? Until after Hanukkah?
that's another that's another
Yeah,
it's
the
another
side
level
shot.
of finalizing. We say there's a saying that Toshav Enosh Hadako, and it's from the Tehillim. There is an interpretation that the person has chance to return Toshav Enosh until the 25th, the date of 25th of Kislev, which is beginning of the Hanukkah. But there is another I think Shalom Kadosh writes that that's words which we say, actually keep in mind during the main prayer of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur on the Tane Tokef. The Tshuva, Tefillah, Tzedakah, and the repentance, return, Tefillah, the prayer, and Tzedakah, the charity, and in every siddur is written the kavanah which you have to keep in mind under each word. If you add up the gematria, the numerical value of these words, it's the same as gematria of Zot Chanukah. So this is when the final decree is being issued. And there are what I'm saying, that whatever is decreed on Rosh Hashanah, it's still an ongoing process. We still have chance to bring changes in the decree. And even in the finalized decree, let's say it's finalized. Our sages say that every Rosh Chodesh, every beginning of the month, there is another judgment. There is another saying that every day there is judgment. So whatever, let's say you prayed like Mamalo in the shul on Rosh Hashanah. You feel so good. You're sure that you got such a wonderful decree, especially after Yom Kippur. You feel holy like an angel. Tomorrow you're going back to our Monday activities and so on. Already, we accomplished what we wanted. We got a good degree, so we can go back to our little things. But in truth of the matter, whatever decreed for us on Rosh Hashanah, that's what stored for us in heaven. Will we receive it? Still question. Still remains a question. Because it depends on our actions. Will this shefa, this blessing and abundance, will it reach us, or our mistakes, which sometimes we call sins, will cause some cloggage to those channels through which the blessing is supposed to come to us. But that's again now I slip to the different topic. What I wanted to say that sometimes we use these terms very simply. Righteous tzaddik is the one who behaves mostly good, decent. The wicked one, rasha, is the one who makes mistakes more often than right decisions. And Beinoni is 50-50. But
Yeah, but if a tzaddik, if a rabbi is already a Beinoni, so we all weak. So
exactly, and that's what Tanya says. That's what Alter Rebbe says. That this understanding, which we use regarding the judgment of Rosh Hashanah, 3 books, Tzaddikim, Rashaim, Beinonim, this could not be true definition of what is Tzaddik, what is Rasha, and what is Beinoni. It cannot be true definition. Beinoni cannot be the one who has 50-50, half merits and half sins. Shin can, because if so, let's go back to these beautiful people. How Rabba could be mistaken about himself, calling himself Beinoni?
his
Okay,
conception
let's say,
is
okay, he was modest. He was modest person, of course, but not fake modest. You know, the person knows when he's behaving correctly, when he do right things, and when he does mistakes, right? So if Rabba Rabba, being honest person, would call himself would call himself Beinoni if he would know that, yes, half of the time I'm doing good things, half of the time I'm wasting my time, so to speak. But this was not the case. He was known to be super righteous person. How who could be mistaken about himself that he is Beinoni? Not that the law pasik pumya migirsa, that he's let me go to the professional translation. How could Rabba err in classifying himself as a Beinoni? For it's known that he never ceased studying the Torah. Ad shafilu malah hamovet lo haya yechol lishlot bo. So much that even angel of death could not overpower him. It's another story from Talmud, how when the time came for him to pass away, Malach HaMoves, the angel of death, couldn't take him. The similar thing happened to King David. So
who is it again? I'm sorry.
Rabbah.
Oh.
But angel of death is a very creative creature, so he caused some disturbance outside, and Rabbah distracted from learning, and that's how he could take him. But otherwise, so this just gives us the glimpse of how righteous was he. And for sure, he cannot be mistaken about himself, and by mistake call himself a Beinoni. Therefore, we can say for sure that when we're talking about the true definitions, Beinoni is not the one who has 50-50, have merits, have sins, because otherwise Rabbi wouldn't call himself Beinoni. How then would he, Rabbi, err to have half of his deeds sinful, God forbid? Ve'od, sheharei b'sha'ah שעושה עוונות נקרא רשע, גמור. Another thing. At what stage can a person be considered a Vainani if, when a man commits sins, he is deemed completely wicked? Who is the sinner? The one who does sins. So when the person does sins, he's not Vainani, he's a sinner, he's wicked. Of course, it's not finalized, and every person can do tshuva and change himself. But at the moment when he does sins, he's not Bainani, he's a sinner. ואם אחר כך עשה תשובה, נקרא צדיק גמור. The same person can do tshuva and can repent and elevate himself to the stage of to the level of complete righteousness. But still, while he does sins, he's a sinner, not Bainani. ואפילו העובר על איסור של קל של דברי סופרים נקרא רשע. To make the picture even how to say, dimmer, even more mysterious, so to speak, even the person who transgress, even he who violates a minor prohibition of the sages, is called wicked, as it's stated in the Talmud. ואפילו מי שיש בידו למחות ולא מיכה נקרא רשע. Even more so, even the one who can prevent someone else doing something bad and refrains from helping another person, from preventing another person from doing sin, also is called sinner. But here I have to add in parentheses that we should be very careful about helping others to do right and not to do mistakes, because it's a very Jewish thing, to give suggestions, to give advices, and to get mixed into somebody else's business. But here
it's Israeli. You take your nose inside of his bucket.
Exactly. Here we're talking about the situation. You have to intervene, so to speak, when the person with whom you have friendly relationship, who would appreciate your suggestion, your advice, and who would listen to it. But if, just to fulfill your obligation to help, knowing that it will only start another fight, that's prohibited to do. But in the case when you know that your advice is needed, then you can influence, you can help, and the person would take your advice and would listen to you, and you refrain from doing so, then even in such a situation, the person is called wicked, rasha. So it's very difficult to be Bainani. Okay, let's continue. V'kol sheken, v'kal v'chomer. Oops, I'm sorry. V'kol sheken v'chomer, even more so, and only more so, he who neglects any positive law which he is able to fulfill. B'mevatel eize mitzvah aseh she'efshar lo lekayma. Even the person who refrains from fulfilling the positive commandment, which he can fulfill, for instance, kol she'efshar lo la'asok b'torah ve'eno asek. Everyone who can study the Torah, have abilities and time, and refrain from it. She'olav darshu rabbeinu zichronam livracha kidvar Hashem baza v'gomer. Akores tikores v'gomer. Upshita demikra rasha tfei me'over isur derabanan. Regarding whom our sages have quoted, because he had despised the word of the Lord, that soul shall be utterly cut off. God forbid. It is thus plain that such a person is called wicked more than he who violates a prohibition of the rabbis, of our sages. So, and this is one of the things which normal person cannot avoid, which the same Talmud tells us. It's very, very difficult to refrain from all these things.
To follow the sages or to follow the Torah?
All the things, but it's all the same. Following the sages is part of the Torah. The Torah commands us to fulfill the decrees of the sages. It's one of the commandments, and the Torah commands the sages to make the decrees, to make the rules, which would help the people to keep the Torah laws. So therefore, the one who violates the decree of the sages commits double violation. He violates the decree of the sages, and he violates the decree of the Torah, which commands us to follow the rules of the sages. And here, another topic which I want to touch. What are the decrees of the sages? First of all, your question stems from the feeling that decrees of the sages is something less important. I'm not saying it with any accusing thought.
That's actually that actually
just
is my opinion.
analyzing the question, because that's what I think it's important to understand. And it's common preconception, yeah, that decrees of the sages is something less important than the laws of the Torah. The truth of the matter, it's essentially wrong. The level of responsibility in the sense of punishment is different, of course, but essentially it's no way less important. I'll explain you why. Because in truth of the matter, the decrees established, made by our sages, are also the laws of God. Our mission in this world, the Torah laws, were given to us to affect, to change, to transform this world where we live. Through using the objects of this world to fulfill the will of Creator, we changing this the matter of this universe just piece by piece, performing the mitzvahs with parts of this world, we infusing it with godliness, transforming the essence of nature of physical reality, bringing the reality of Mashiach, when the godliness will be openly revealed in this world. But the world changes, transforms with the time. So our job is also being transformed, like in any type of production, with development, with progress. Let's say, take the transportation. It was very simple. It started with the invention of the wheel, but compare the wagons of 2,000 years ago with modern cars, our wagons, which we ride, and the whole industry changed. So the jobs to produce the meanings of the tools of transportation, not completely, they are more intricate. They're different.
Adapted.
Yes. So similarly, in the changing world, our transforming interaction, also transforms. Let's say, on certain stage of development, this world needed tremendously the new tool to bring light into this world, because the darkness became too aggressive, too strong. And Jewish nation, whose job is to affect the world, to transform the world, to
We are the minority.
The Jewish nation got new mitzvah, Hanukkah candles, which mystical function is fighting the darkness. That's why we put it on the left side of the doorpost, opposing the mezuzah, because left represents gvura, strength, aggression. The light of Hanukkah candle, its function to eliminate the darkness. That's why we celebrate Hanukkah.
I'm a lefty.
That's why we celebrate Hanukkah during the darkest time of the year. And that's why the whole history of the world went in such direction, which gave excuse, so to speak, essentially, or which pushed our sages to establish this mitzvah. I don't need to tell you the whole story of Hanukkah, right? But all this happened because at that time, world needed additional mitzvah. Do you understand? So whenever in our history we receive additional mitzvah, rabbinical decree, and so on, for certain reasons, right? That's because at that time in the world, in the world history, Hashem wanted us to start interacting with the world on this level too, through this channel also. It's like in the family. The parent wants the household, the kids, to behave in a certain manner, right? Certain rules the parent gives directly. Do so and so, avoid this and this, or else, even to such an extent, right? Certain things I want my kids to do, not because I'm, how to say, imposing on them, but I still want them, but not in such a direct way. So certain things I convey through my wife, or sometimes through certain conditions. I want them to realize that that's what I want from them. But it's still my will. The same with the mitzvahs, which are decrees of rabbis. It's a will of God, but he wanted to convey it through at that specific time in our history, and through our sages. You understand?
Question.
Yes.
But with certain mitzvahs, we still do keep the sages things that there's less. Like, for example, we were saying a blessing. If we don't know if we said the blessing before we eat, we don't say it again.
There is a certain set of priorities, but it's not the importance.
So why do we differentiate them? Other than punishment, why do we differentiate the difference between?
Because whatever given directly has higher priority. That's the set. That's how it's set in the Torah.
But like importance, there's no difference. Got it.
Essential importance. Okay, let's stop here. But let me see where would be good. Okay. אם כן, על כורכו הבינוני אין בו אפילו אופן ביטול תורה משום הוכיתו רבה בעצמו לא משהו בינוני. If so, we must conclude that the Beinoni is not guilty even of the sin of neglecting to study the Torah. Hence, Rabbah could have mistaken himself for a Beinoni.
Which sounds like a tzaddik.
Which sounds, at least comparing to our initial understanding, what is tzaddik, what is Rasha.
Yeah, because we even
wow.
said...
So Beinoni is not, it's not so, how do we translate intermediary?
Intermediary, yeah.
Something mediocre. It's not such an intermediary thing. It's a very high level.
We even said
to
that.
be Benoni?
Benoni.
Yeah, we even said not even if you didn't sin, but if you didn't do like something you're supposed to, like for example, you're supposed to say Shema at a certain time. If you skip that, you're already a Russia, according to what we just said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Benoni is something.
Skip it by mistake.
Yeah.
If you skip it by mistake.
Oh, that's different thing. we're talking, of course, about the intentional sins.
I intentionally
think there
snoozed my
is-
alarm clock though.
I don't think there is a Jew that wants to skip on it. It just, it's not part of the.
It's because
routine.
you're too righteous. You cannot imagine. And other people. Did you ever hear about such a Kabbalistic term as laziness?
All the
Yes.
time.
So some people are, how to say,
Lazy.
totally lazy. Yeah.
Yeah, even if you don't remember, it means you like if you don't remember, sometimes you just forget it from that. Like you don't mean to.
Right, but it could be a situation when you might forget, you might skip, you are busy with something, and say, well, it's almost time to say Shema. Okay, I'll say it, and you keep on doing what you're doing. Is it by mistake or rather laziness?
I think it's a habit.
It's more
because if you didn't grow with the idea of saying Shema, like I grown in an religious family, and in my house nobody taught me to say Shema, and only when I was 18, my grandfather he was a rabbi, he was a Kohen, so he was taught me to say Shema. So it's the only time that I ever known about it. So since then, it's like very hard to keep that habit and put it inside my routine. So I think it's not that I don't want to say it. If I was able to, it's not a matter of laziness. I want to, but it's much more harder.
right. But I have to tell you, regretfully, that very often, unfortunately, people do much worse things intentionally than skipping Shema. It's hard to imagine righteous people, but it happens every day.
I can
L'chaim.
imagine because I see it in my own eyes. I do can imagine, unfortunately.
Any questions, guys?
So we said that Hashem creates people as evil and righteous.
We asked, is it really true? What you've said. How then we have freedom of choice? That's the problem. It's a question which we didn't give answer yet. We still
If you're born to the not
we still
right
how to say
family,
emphasizing the
We
question.
have
What
stories
is
of
what
righteous
is
people who were
righteous?
not
What
religious,
is
not
wicked?
Jewish,
What is
and then they became
tzaddik v'rasha?
leaders
And
of
what is
generation.
baining? At first
In
glance,
fact,
that's the
there's-
simplest.
there's
Between,
a-
so half and half.
A
Now
sage
we
in
see
Gemara who was a
It's not
thief,
such.
a
It's not
robber,
so simple. Not simple at all.
and
According to what we see,
Yeah.
it's close to what we previously understood as righteous, completely righteous. The guy who doesn't sin. If you sin, you're a sinner. You're not baining.
who was the sage that was a robber, and then
Resh Lakish.
Rish Lakish was a bandit, and then afterwards, because the sage promised him if you became righteous, he could marry his sister and daughter or something. But he stopped having the study and became one of the leaders. So it can't.
It's a pity we
it
have
doesn't
to
matter.
stop. I prepared so many beautiful slides. Huh?
Your circumstances definitely.
Great.
Next time.
Can we get a sneak peek of the next one?
How do you like it?
souls.
Oh, that's it.
2 souls. It's for the next chapter.
Yes.
Oh, for-
Not next
Not-
chapter.
We're still in chapter 1.
We're still in the middle of
We're
chapter
still
1.
in chapter 1.
It's still in chapter 1.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Deep
I
stuff.
can tell you, the end of it will be very, very controversial.
So
The end's controversial.
Very controversial.
Chapter 1.
Some people, some
Chapter 1.
some teachers even
be
avoid
continued.
teaching the end of the chapter 1.
This is the
And
first
some
thing
of them
they
teach
knew
it,
about
but
cliffhangers.
totally distorted.
We're gonna teach it right.
I'll do my best.
It's
Film
amazing.
the reactions.
Thank
It's
you.
amazing. It's written in Hebrew or in Aramaic?
Tanya in Hebrew.
in Hebrew.
Yeah.
In
In
Hebrew. Not
But
Aramaic.
but the quotations from Talmud, of course, are in Aramaic.
How do you stop the recording?
How do you
Press
stop the
space
recording?
bar.
Yes, one second.
Control P.
There is. One
Oh,
second, there
it's
is-
locked.
Command P.
Has it been recording even though it's locked?
Well, is it?
I hope so.
recording not?
Green dot is on. Thank you, Apple.
So then it should.
Yes.
It was recorded.
Let's see when the rain is gonna stop.
If you want, I can bring my.
Okay.
You're
Hi, David.
I can bring my.
Bye, David.
3-4.
You know what was going.